Exclusively designed by Nixie Nax Arts, we bring you our second exclusive mat with the colossal Rainbow Neos taking on Red Eyes Dragoon, using both Dark Magician and Red Eyes alongside Elemental Hero Neos and of course Rainbow Dragon. Produced by Venom Battle Gear, this is an exclusive mat only available from their site. You can get this mat both with and without zones, and it can be shipped worldwide. What are you waiting for? Visit venombattlegear.co.uk to get your own exclusive Rainbow Neos versus Red Eyes Dragoon playmat.
What's up YouTube, Dan here from Z4 Games, and as I said in the Jinzo competitive profile, if it hit 50 likes, I would be more than happy to bring you a pure Jinzo profile. So thanks to a couple of little spicy suggestions from Joe, I've been able to put this version together. Now this is as pure as I can kind of get it. There are a couple of little cards you might be able to like tweak about, but the way that I've kind of looked on this is like, okay, do I see Esper using these cards? If Esper would use these cards, do I think it would then technically still be a Jinzo deck? And to be honest, I think there are a couple of cards. There's probably one card in here that I don't think he would use, but I'll explain it as we go through it and kind of go from there. I'll then show you at the end as well a free card combo that can help extend you to further plays as well. With that said done, please smash the like button, hit the notification bell, and subscribe so you do not miss out on any more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh content. With that out of the way, let's show you today's pure Jinzo profile. So, because it is Jinzo, we do play triple Jinzo. Shocker on that one. This is actually even more important to be played at free in this particular build, because there is a combo that I'll show you and a card that we use that basically allows you to get all three of these out on your turn, and then that gives you instant access for rank 6 plays. Now, I'll show you the combo towards the end, but there's ways that basically allow you to extend using your opponent's monsters. That's the idea of Jinzo, is to shut down the back row of trap cards and then use their opponent's monsters against them. And that's what we've gone for. We then played two Jinzo the Machine Menace. Because we're going pure Jinzo, it's more important for normal Jinzo to be played because the Machine Menace doesn't count as Jinzo anywhere else. So it counts as a Jinzo monster, just not Jinzo itself specifically. If it did count as Jinzo, then it would be better because you get it from deck. But 2 is more than enough. You can play 3 if you want. Now, I've only got 2 Psychic Bounder. You can probably play 3 if you want to, but the normal side of the deck of the core combo is further on in the deck profile that I'll show you in a minute. But this one is, if it's normal, you get to add a Jinzo or spell and trap, so that specifically lists Jinzo in its name. So again, it is another normal summon that allows you to get the spells to help you extend further. We've then got double Jinzo Returner. Basically, if it is sent to the graveyard from no matter where it is, hand, field, or deck, you can special summon a Jinzo from your graveyard. That's the biggest issue. That's why you can't really rely on it too more, because it doesn't special from the hand or the deck. It has to be from the graveyard. So you have to be able to dump the Jinzo to then get the returner down and then go from there. We've then got double Jinzo Ejector. This is the most important Jinzo because he counts as Jinzo on the board. Then what you can do is you can tribute this card and add one Jinzo monster from your deck to your hand. So Jinzo monster, which means you can get the Menace. Then you get to reveal all set cards your opponent's spell and trap zones, and if there are traps among them, you can special summon Jinzo monsters from your hand up to the number of trap cards revealed. So you can basically just flood the board with Jinzos. And if the last Jinzo monster, we've got the one Jinzo Lord, just because he is your boss monster. If you wanted to play Machine Menace at 3, then you could easily cut this guy out and do exactly that. Then for the spicy monster, we do play triple Summon a Monk. Now, Summon a Monk with a spell actually leads you into a free card combo that gets you Jinzo Ejector and then gets you triple Jinzo on board, which then allows you to go for a rank 4 play, plus 1 if not 2 rank 6 plays. On top of that, you could link climb if you wanted to, depending on the angle you wanted to go for. And again, I'll show you all that at the end. For the spells, we play triple Law of the Cosmos. Love this card. So your opponent can set a spell and trap, and if they do, you get to special summon one Jinzo from your deck. If they do not, you get to add one Jinzo or one monster that specifically lists Jinzo in its name. Triple Law of Darkness, all your monsters are dark. Easy, easy fodder. Triple Dark Ruler no more. We are going second. The idea of this deck is to be able to go second, turn off your opponent's entire board, and then start using your spells and of course your Jinzo effects to start taking control of your opponent's monsters. And then on top of that, you use Vampire Sheridan to use their monsters to XYZ into Sheridan. Sheridan can then detach and send, and then when Sheridan has detached and send, he is allowed to revive a monster that has been sent to the graveyard. So that then allows you to gain even more materials to then link climb even higher. Then the spice, we've got triple Inferno Reckless Summon. So, when exactly one monster with 1500 or less attack is special summoned to the field while your opponent controls a face-up monster, special summon as many monsters as possible with the same name as the summoned monster from your hand, deck, and graveyard in attack position. Also, your opponent special summons as many monsters as possible with the same name as one of their face-up monsters from their hand, deck, and graveyard. So, what does that mean? Well, the idea is you're supposed to go summon a monk, discard a spell, special summon out Jinzo Jector. Jinzo Jector becomes Jinzo on the field. You then chain Inferno Reckless Summon. This will then allow you to bring out 3 Jinzos from anywhere of your main deck, main deck, graveyard, or hand. That then allows your opponent to special summon. However, because you're going to be going second, you've already turned everything off with Dark Ruler No More, the chances are their board is either going to be full or the monsters that they can summon are only going to be able to come from the main deck. So the only time that becomes a weakness is if you're facing something like Dinos and they decide to bring out Double Oviraptor or Oviraptor and something else. There's not really anything that they can bring out during their turn that's going to allow them to extend further. And they're under Dark Ruler No More. The board that you are going to make in the end phase, not in the end phase, sorry, in that same main phase is going to be able to clear that board off. So the more monsters they put on the board, the more you're going to steal, the more you're going to send, the more you're going to clear. So the combo with this is, of course, Summon a Monk plus any spell plus Inferno Reckless Summon, which is why we play it at 3. And like I said, it just gives you 3 Jinzos. So not only are you shutting off your opponent's back row, but you can then, of course, go into... you could tribute off the Jinzo Jector if you want to, but the idea is you're going to go into rank 6 Jinzo Layered. Jinzo Layered will then steal one of your opponent's monsters. You then use 1 Jinzo and the monster you've stolen from your opponent as long as it has a level to go into Vampire Sheridan. You can then turn Jinzo Jector and Summon a Monk into a rank 4. You can then use your Sheridan's effect to detach material, send one of your opponent's monsters to the graveyard, and then revive one of the opponent's monsters from the graveyard to the field. You can then use Jinzo Layered to tribute said monster to then pop one of the cards your opponent controls as well, and then you've got 3 monsters that are going to be attacking in to clear off the board. Now, if you don't want to go the XYZ climb route, what you can then do is go into link climb route, and that will then allow you to provide you with additional board clear. The idea is you want to clear your opponent's board and then still control your opponent while taking away as many of their resources as possible. We've then got double Cyber Energy Shock. Again, you're going to be controlling Jinzos. This is the whole point of a pure Jinzo deck. Now, I've got 1 Foolish Burial and 1 Psychic Wave. It should technically be a second Psychic Wave, because this one is, if you control a machine monster, send 1 Jinzo from your hand or deck to the graveyard, inflict 600 damage to your opponent. During the main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from the graveyard, target 1 machine monster in your graveyard, send 1 Jinzo monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, add that targeted monster back to your hand. So the idea is, it's basically an additional Foolish Burial to send Returner. Returner can then get you a Jinzo. So that's the additional play with that one. We are a Jinzo deck, so we do play double Brain Control and the 1 Mind Control. So this is another very important part of the combo as well, is you'd have to get rid of the monster, or you'd only be able to bring out 2 Jinzos. But the idea is, if your opponent does have a monster that's from the main deck that can be normal summoned or set, you basically steal it. So as long as they have a monster, so as long as they've got an extra deck monster there, you basically steal it with Brain Control, do the exact same shenanigans with Summon a Monk and Jector, and then they're going to be like, oh, well, you've taken my only monster that can be normal summoned or set, I guess I can't use it. And then you use that Brain Control ability with one of the Jinzos to go into Vampire Sheridan, so you basically cut out the Jinzo Layered part, and then the Sheridan can then steal another one, and if you wanted to play 2 Sheridans, you can do. Mind Control, of course, is Brain Control but better, but it is at 1, sadly. Then just a couple of 1 spells that I'm taking out. Reasoning, we play 3s, 4s and 6s, so you can try this one out. The Call by the Grave, because you want to make sure your Summon a Monk goes off. Monster Reborn, because you want to bring back any of your monsters and off you go. And as you can see, the reason we've gone with the Summon a Monk is we do play a hefty amount of spells. Then for the traps, we've got triple Infinite Impermanence, purely because you can activate this turn 1 if you do not open up with your Dark Ruler No More. You can activate Infinite Impermanence turn 1. That will then put a trap in your graveyard, which means you can then bring out the Machine Menace Jinzo as well from your hand for pretty much nothing. And then we've got 2 Titansiders, just because you want the ability to recycle the traps in the graveyard, and this is probably the best one to do so in that capacity. So this is kind of why we've gone with a smaller trap lineup, because what you don't want to do as well is when you've got a Jinzo on the board, these are going to be locked out. So you want to make sure that these are just going to be able to give you versatility from the graveyard, recyclability, disruption, anything you kind of want them to be. You could play something like Nibiru if you wanted to swap out the imperms as well. That again is entirely up to you and down to your personal play style. But the only card that I could see that Esper might not play would be the Summoner Monk. But because of the combo, it is actually very important. Other cards you can put in this deck should you want to play it is Apprentice Illusion. I kind of took it out because I couldn't see it actually being a card that Esper would play, but it is a card that will help you extend your rank 6 plays. You've got the 1 Psychic Mega Cyber, again, just helps you to extend your rank 6 plays. And then, of course, you've got Crackdown as well. So Crackdown is a more defensive option to steal your opponent's monsters. But because of the design of this deck is to go second, you would then, if you're going to go first, put in Crackdowns over Dark Ruler No Mores. And then you'd control your opponent, steal their stuff with Crackdown, and then go in second. You'd then build your board to go for the OTK rather than going for the rank 6 stun. Now on to the extra deck. Now the extra deck, for our rank 4 plays that come off of Jinzo Jector and of course Summoner Monk, we've got the 1 Abyss Dweller, we've got the 1 Baguska number 41, they've got the 1 Tornado Dragon, and because they're both dark, Evil Swarm Nightmare. So you basically, these are very defensive in a sense. There's not really, with Dark Ruler No More, there's not really a lot of offensive rank 4s that don't require like the Utopia package. So I kind of went defensive with my rank 4s, and because ultimately what you can do is you can use the monsters to go into link climbs, and the link climb cards we use are the IP Masquerina, the Nightmare Phoenix, the Nightmare Cerberus, and then the Nightmare Unicorn. So obviously that's kind of straightforward and simple in that sense, and you can kind of see where we're planning to go with this. Then if, depending on how you want to play this, if you want to go with rank 6, then I would actually bump up. I would actually bump up some of the rank 6 plays. If you want to be going on more just generic meta relevant cards or cards that are actually going to be able to bring you the game back, you go with 3 link 4s of being 1 Mech Knight Crusader Avramax with your IP plays, an Appaloosa, and then an access code. Now, you could actually take out the access code. It doesn't need to be there as a boss monster if you are on a more stricter budget. What I would definitely say is you would definitely play 2 Vampire Sheridan, 2 Jinzo Laird if you wanted to, but then you've also got a Photon Strike Bowser and your number Utopia Beyond. Now Utopia Beyond is another way that as long as you can get a rank 6 on board, Utopia Beyond with your opponent locked out under Dark Ruler No More will just be able to clear your opponent's board. So he turns all attack position monsters your opponent controls to 0. So then that will basically allow you to just go, cool, clear one off, and then any of your weaker monsters can start clearing off as well. But the idea, the rank 6 I want to be going for, in my opinion, are these 2 right here. At the very least, you want to go Vampire Sheridan and then a Photon Strike Bowser, so you're setting yourself up a defensive play for when they try to rebuild after being Dark Rulered. So that's kind of the initial play there. Like I said, I would probably bump Sheridan up to 2. I think he's so good. And I'd probably bump Laird up to 2 as well. So it really does come down to your personal preference and how you would personally like to play this deck and the route you'd like to go for. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the 3-card combo. It's literally Summoner Monk plus Infernal Reckless are the main 2 that you need, and then any other spell. So any spell that you have in your entire deck, it doesn't really matter which one. That's kind of how you're going to go from there. Now, what makes this hand better is if you've got Dark Ruler No More, you shut off your opponent's board, off you go. You can't play this turn 0, so you will have 3 additional cards that you're hoping to be an Imperm, a Dark Ruler, or something to make sure that this consistently goes through. So the idea is you would normal summon your Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk's effect would ditch one of the spells as long as it's not the Reckless Summon. And that will then special summon out your Jinzo Jector. Now, because Jinzo Jector has been summoned, you would then chain the Infernal Reckless because it's a when effect, and it is exactly 1 monster with less than 15. This will then allow you to get 3 Jinzos from your deck, because Jinzo Jector becomes Jinzo on the board. So you're then going to be able to go, cool, exactly Jinzos as well. They have to be Jinzos. They can't be a Jinzo monster. This then gives you exactly 3 Jinzos coming onto the board, and your board is now full. So now at this point, it's entirely up to you on what stance you want to take first. If you've Dark Ruler No More your opponent, you know you're not going to be doing OTK damage, but you do have the ability to do so should you wish. Now, you've got your rank 4 play here should you want to, or your link 2 play. It is entirely up to you, and it is just there designed to clear some space up. So if you wanted to go to IP Masquerena and then try and end your board on like a access code talker or anything like that, you do have the ability to climb up and do the damage that way. Otherwise, what you're going to do is you're literally going to move these just to get some space going. All your opponent's back row is technically locked out, so it depends if you want to go defensive, it depends if they're floaters, it really depends on what deck you're facing against. Then from this point on, what you want to do, or what you can do, or what your options are, is you can overlay the double Jinzo and go into the Jinzo layered. You then use this to detach one material, and then you get to target a face-up monster your opponent controls and take control of it until the end phase. So let's just say we've taken control of this. As long as it is a monster with a level, you can then use the other Jinzo plus the monster you've just stolen, and you go into the Dampier Vampire Sheridan. Then what you can do here is you can detach one material, possibly the one that your opponent controls, and then you send one card from your opponent's field to the graveyard. I think it's target one card your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard. And then once per turn, if a monster card or cards is sent from the field to the graveyard by a card effect, which is exactly what it's done, or a monster is destroyed by battle and sent to your opponent's graveyard, you detach one material, special summon one of those monsters. So you then get to go, cool, detach, special summon one of them. Now this is on the assumption you haven't been able to steal one of your opponent's monsters. Another option is instead of going into layered, you would go into the Vampire first off. So there you go, this is what your board presence would be. You then use Vampir's effect, detach, send one, revive that send one, and then you can go overlay. This would then be a second Vampire Sheridan, and then that Vampire Sheridan can detach, send one, revive it, because it is not a hard once per turn. And then what you've got now is you've got 4 monsters on board. You can link these all together. You can do whatever you want from this point onwards, and it really depends on where you want to go and where you want to end up from there. Jinzo Layered would then have the ability, if it wanted to, once you've done the Dampier's second effect and revived another one, is you can actually then use the effect of Jinzo Layered to pop this card to then pop another card you want. So it's entirely up to you of where you want to end up, but it's still very, very good in a technical pure Jinzo profile. Yeah, I think this is a very good way to go. Like I said, the engine came from Joe about the Summoner Monk and the Infernal Summon, and I just thought it was really cool. Now, if you're like, no, Esper would never play Summoner Monk in his deck, that's just not the way to do it, then you can change it up. What I would then advise is you can start playing triple brain control. You can play stuff like creature swap. The idea would then literally become that you just want to control a monster your opponent owns, and then by doing so you then get to unlock more of the pure Jinzo kind of factors. But just by using this engine, you're able to utilize Jinzo Jector, you're able to utilize Jinzo Layered, you're able to utilize Jinzo, and you're also able to utilize Vampire Sheridan as well as your other rank 6 plays. You also have Crackdown, which in my personal opinion, if the deck, like Jinzo, is reliant on stealing your opponent's monsters and then negating the traps effects, you can play stuff like Call of the Haunted, and of course Crackdown, just to be able to go, cool, I'm going to steal your monster, and then going to use it for my rank 6 plays for Sheridan as well. I think that's what something Jinzo should have been, because Jinzo's so reliant on other people's monsters or your opponent's monsters that Jinzo should have been or could have been basically the effect of Sheridan. But then Sheridan is basically like a vampire. So there's a lot of good things that synergize between the two, which I really, really like. And that's why I decided to build Jinzo. And it's why you guys wanted to see a pure version as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. All the support you provide the channel allows us to keep producing content like this. And if there is any particular deck or combos or any type of video you want to see, then please let us know. I'll be more than happy to do it for you. I did get a request about side decking. So not so much what you put in your side deck, but more so how you side deck and what you decide to side deck in and out. So I am working on a video like that for you as a bit more an informative video to give you the lowdown and try and help you out. So if there are any other tutorials that you want to know or any kind of questions you have for me, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and as absolutely always, guys, stay safe and happy dueling.
Exclusively designed by Nixie Arts, we bring you our second exclusive mat with the colossal Rainbow Neos taking on Red Eyes Dragoon, using both Dark Magician and Red Eyes alongside Elemental Hero Neos and of course Rainbow Dragon. Produced by Venom Battle Gear, this is an exclusive mat only available from their site. You can get this mat both with and without zones, and it can be shipped worldwide. What are you waiting for? Visit venombattlegear.co.uk to get your own exclusive Rainbow Neos versus Red Eyes Dragoon playmat.